Give me wings and make me fly. Make me bold enough to try. In this crowded room, make it just me and you.
One step closer to embracing the better days ahead. My way to the stars. Am I a fool if I try? Or a fool if I don't? But I won't know.
Love of my life, you've hurt me. You've broken my heart, and now you leave me. Love of my life, can't you see?
Give me wings and make me fly. Make me bold enough to try. In this crowded room, make it just me and you.
One step closer to embracing the better days ahead. My way to the stars. Am I a fool if I try? Or a fool if I don't? But I won't know.
Love of my life, you've hurt me. You've broken my heart, and now you leave me. Love of my life, can't you see?
Hello.
Oh,
Good
hello.
afternoon.
I was so busy watching Rachel singing then.
I feel like
We were,
I feel like a complete idiot
saying, oh.
because we obviously know Rachel from Scarlet River in her management capacity, and I had no idea she was a singer.
I know, I didn't. It's beautiful as well.
Yeah,
really lovely.
absolutely.
And it
Why
stopped.
didn't we really know this? What's going on?
Yeah, if we'd known in advance, we'd have engineered something.
I feel
today.
like we've been duped.
Yeah.
I feel like we'd have got to say, right, Rachel, get your singing voice out Sunday afternoon.
I know.
Well, it's
So-
lovely to be back.
It is. Good afternoon, and what a lovely day out there. Are you sharing our lovely weather up there?
We
As
are.
well,
It's
you-
lovely and sunny and blue skies. Yeah.
It is pretty nice. It's cold, but it is beautiful
alright.
out there, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely lovely.
Yeah, it's just so lovely. So I'm suspecting we might get a few viewers on catch up actually, because I think people will be
Yes.
out enjoying the
Don't
sun
blame
whilst you
them.
can. So
I've got a sneaking suspicion today might be the official first barbecue day of the year.
yeah, could well be. What for you? Got a nice barbie lined up.
Probably not
I
us,
don't
but
think so
it won't be
today, I'm
long.
afraid.
Yeah,
No.
maybe next weekend. You never know. So our regular viewers will notice we are man down.
Yes. So
We
yes,
are.
sadly, Donna can't join us this week.
No,
But
so
hopefully next time
you're going to have to put up with a bit more of us instead.
Very strange though, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Not having her
Love
as well.
dancing.
It is absolutely. It's a bit weird. Which is say already hello to David and Rachel and of course and Harry and Nathan and DC. Thank you for putting this on again, DC.
Yep.
The award-winning
Thank you. As
DC Brown
usual.
and Adele and Andy. So
Oh,
lovely. Hi, welcome everybody. So Sarah, you have a new single out, do you not?
Well, it feels like it's really old now. It was just over a week ago, but it's kind of feels like it's done and dusted and it's over with. But it's kind of it's still out there, I suppose, and people are still listening. So yeah, it was a night. It's a sort of it came as a much a surprise to me as anyone that I kind of released it really, but it just kind of evolved as I was just playing the guitar one day, and I just thought, oh, this might be quite nice to record. So yeah, it was kind of a little start to the year that I hadn't expected, but it was nice. And how about you? You've got something coming. You've got something on pre-order at the moment. I pre-ordered it yesterday, so
Oh, bless you, thank
Sarah.
you.
Yes, yeah, our new single. It was open for pre-orders on Friday, and it's released 12th of March.
It is, and we've enjoyed really, really good radio play from it already.
Yeah, it's been lovely.
So we just
yeah,
hope
it's a gorgeous song though. It really is.
Oh, thank you very much. I mean, Keith Greentree from BBC East, he runs the country show right across BBC Cambridge and
I love
Norfolk and
his show.
Suffolk and all
Brilliant.
that. It's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah, he's playing it this afternoon while we're on.
Oh
So
really?
that'll be catch up tomorrow.
Oh, he's a great. did hear that his show was getting cancelled, but it seems to be still going on.
So he had two shows actually. He had a 7 counties one on the Saturday, and we went and did an interview with him in the studio just before lockdown last year, I think.
Maybe.
Ish. Yeah, a while back anyway. And then that one, yeah, and it's like so many, sadly, of the specialty shows have been cancelled through lockdown, and hopefully they'll come back someday. But his 3 county Sunday afternoon country show is still with us, and he's always got a great mix of music. Always well worth if you can't listen to a good replay, you know.
Yeah, he includes such a big wide range, doesn't he, as well, which is good.
He goes right from the classic country right through to modern country and a number of independent artists each week as well. So it's a really lovely mix. Yeah. He's got a very loyal listenership as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Lovely man. So
Wow.
yeah, I feel like we should start with your new single then, Sarah.
Oh, really? Well, this is going to be fun because I've not been singing much. I've been a bit naughty. I should be kind of doing my duty and warming up my voice every day and having a bit of a sing every day, but I haven't been. It's just it's going to be a bit of a funny one today. I think it's going to be just testing the old vocals out and seeing if they still work. I don't know. I don't know if they do. I've been doing a bit of recording, but it's not the same because you keep doing the same bits over and over again, and you're not really testing it on a live basis. So we shall soon see. But
I'm sure it's
but yeah,
brilliant.
I will do a little clear of the throat, and I will attempt a version of my version of the Katie Lang song, which she actually did like on Instagram.
She did. That was wonderful, yeah.
Which was a little bit of excitement. But it would have been quite nice if she kind of shared it to the world. That would have been the next step, wouldn't it? But no, just the like and the comment was nice enough for me, and a great honor. So I'm going to try and do a version of Constant Craving for you now. Even through the darkest phase, be it thick or thin, always someone much is brave here beneath my skin, and constant craving has always been. Maybe a great magnet pulls all souls towards truth, or maybe it is life itself breathes wisdom to its youth, and constant craving has always been, and constant craving has always
out of practice, she says.
I know.
Look at that.
If that's what she's like, out of practice.
Literally, I just forced it out. That was just like a pure, like,
Oh.
just get it out. Not
I feel like that
technically.
was a bit like. I feel like that's a bit like David Beckham going, "Yeah, I haven't played football for a while," and kicking a ball from like right down the other end and scoring first time.
No.
That was beautiful. Absolutely
Oh,
wonderful.
thank you. It lacked my little bits of production. I'd like to have had those in there as well, but just the
You'll have
plain
to
old
record the
guitar.
backing track next.
Yeah,
the next
yeah,
thing to
probably
go
will
with it.
next time. I'll play it out.
Oh dear. Well, we'll do our cover next, should we?
Well, yeah, because we knew you had your single out, so our regular viewers will know we like to have a theme each week. So
Yes.
we've spaced our theme around your song. So
You
the
very
theme is-
kindly did that for me. Yeah.
So our theme this week is a constant, so something that's a constant in your life.
Mm.
So we trawled back through the list of covers we knew, but we came up with this one, and I've forgotten his name again.
Chris Galbuda.
There you go, him, and one of his songs. But it's called "History of My Heart," and it's about once you love somebody, you don't really ever let them go. Kind of thing.
It's Chris Galbuda is a Nashville writer, and he's someone who he is signed and all those kind of good things, but he tends to write for other people more than release music himself, which is shocking because if you look him up on YouTube particularly, he's just devastatingly good. He's one of those, how on earth is this guy, not a bigger deal?
I don't think he wants to be. I think
maybe
he's
not.
happy with what he's doing.
Yeah. So anyway,
That's
yeah,
impression I
this
get
is
anyway.
this is History of My Heart, which features a particularly fascinatingly, interestingly difficult guitar part.
And
So
it's quite high.
here we go.
Why did we do this?
Let's see what happens. Just when I think I finally found a way to up and get you off my mind,
Just when I finally got a prayer to pray, your memory creeps up from behind.
it don't matter how many miles down the road, it don't matter,
How many times I let you go?
you're always with me, written in the history of my heart.
I've tried a little bit of everything to start again with someone new.
But every time a path seems promising, it leads me right back here to you. It don't matter how many miles down the road, it don't matter,
How many times I let you go?
you're always with me, written in the history of my heart. No way I'm meant to walk this world on my own. Some words are on the wind, some words are etched in stone, in stone. It don't matter how many miles down the road, it don't matter.
How many times I let you go?
You're always with me, written in the history of my heart, written in the history of my heart, the history of my heart.
Woo! Oh, that was so gorgeous.
It's a pretty song. isn't
You're
it?
right. That is amazing, isn't it? And that's beautiful guitar part as well.
Oh, thank you. That's the simplified version, I have to tell you. He does something he's way more fancy than that. It is just such a lovely song, though, and it is one of those that someone bigger ought to have recorded and covered.
I think they would have done, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it's
Trish and Garth.
Oh,
You can imagine them
imagine?
doing
That
it,
would
can't
be
you?
lovely.
Yeah,
I really
Tim and
can, actually.
Faith.
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking Trish and Garth.
Trish and Garth.
Yeah, it's got them.
That's
all over
decision
it.
done then.
Yeah, tell him. Have a quick word with Garth.
They've got COVID, haven't they? Or they did have COVID, didn't
Oh,
they?
that's right,
Trish
yeah.
is not very well at all by the sound of it.
Yeah, I hope that all clears up pretty soon. That's not
I
good.
know.
It's kind of a mixed message out there, and I think different places in the US are having, almost back to normal kind of situation. I know my stepsister down in Florida, things down there aren't actually too bad now.
She's out there
Oh,
with her hair
really?
done and everything.
Yeah, fancy that.
To the hairdressers.
But other places, are really tough still. So yeah, we hope everybody sort of gets over it soon as they can.
Yeah, I know. I've actually forgotten what we're doing as in
So-
the kind of
I
format
know it's all
thing.
confusing, isn't it, without Donna?
But-
So I think we thought we'd maybe stick with our theme and do our original that goes with the theme each, and then
Yeah.
invite our guest on, and then after we've chatted to Rachel, we each do a lucky dip song each to finish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Non-themed song.
So what would you like to do next, Sarah?
Well, I'm going to stick with the constant theme, obviously, and it's actually a song that it goes very well with another song of mine, but I haven't got my words here, so I won't risk it. But this is a song about it was written at a time when me and my partner Dave, we were kind of just friends, but one of us felt more for the other, and it was one of those relationships that we've been sort of. One of us has liked each other and one of us didn't, and then the other one did. So this was written in a time when I didn't feel anything for him, but he did. And this came out of that, really. And it was on my last EP, and it was on my other album, my acoustic album as well.
Oh,
It's a song called Safe.
Oh, I love this one.
Am I safe, safe to call you up? Will you freeze just to hear me speak? You afraid feelings still go deep, wide awake to keep me from your dreams. Shall I give you space, or do you have to face the pain that lies within? Shall I give you time so you don't have to hide the pain that lies within? Am I safe to hold you, safe to need you, safe to touch you? Or will you break? Or will you break? Am I safe to tell you that I'm over you? Or will you break? Or will you break? Are you stronger, strong enough to see if you're ready to be in my company? Are you over me now, or is it killing you somehow just to hear my name? Are you avoiding me still, so there's no chance to feel if we reignite the flame? Am I safe to hold you, safe to need you, safe to touch you? Or will you break? Or will you break? Am I safe to tell you that I'm over you? Or will you break? Or will you break? Oh. hurt you? Or will you break? Or will you break? Am I safe to tell you that I'm over you? Or will you break? Or will you break? Oh, ooh, I wanna know when I see you, when I feel that I'm over you. Will I break? Or will I break? Ooh.
Oh, that is so good.
Thank you. Plectrum halfway through.
Oh no.
If you haven't done already, go and check out Sarah's acoustic album. It's really super. Really enjoying
Oh,
that.
thank you
It's on
very
loop in my
much.
car.
It was my first outing on producing, and it was a kind of little tryout. But I'm doing other things, sort of progressing on a bit more now. So it's a nice little practice, just doing an acoustic album, really. But you've done loads of stuff, but it was kind of new to me, and you've kind of done a lot of self-producing, haven't you?
Well, you have. I just go, yeah, I don't like that bit. I like that bit. Can you make that bit sound better?
Which, after you've spent 3 hours just sorting out this one bit, it's like, yeah, I don't like that. And it's like, beer, please.
Sounds like me.
It's something I've always been into, and one of the things that I think, looking back on the inspirations, and then someone reminded me recently of the very, very first time I found out how recording was done, and kind of I went, oh, I'm interested in that. Was back in the day. This is going to show age now, so flashback. Everything turns into black and white now.
Awesome part.
Yeah, it's one of those where the calendar flips off in the old films, all the pages. It was back in the, I'm not going to mention the year, but it was when Mike Oldfield re-recorded the Blue Peter theme
Oh my god.
with Simon Green was the presenter.
Sadly, I remember that. Groom.
Simon Groom, that's right. And yeah, he went into the studio and all the camera crew were playing percussion instruments, and they showed you how multi-tracking worked and recording one thing after another and after that. And I was just fascinating, and yeah, I've been kind of hooked on it ever since.
See, I was more interested in the pets.
Yeah. Which elephant is going to poo in which corner of the room? Down, chap. Anyway, the good people didn't pay good money to come and see us talk about Blue Peter, did they?
Not really.
There's going to be someone, I'm going to bet Harry or someone that knows what year that was.
I expect so,
I don't
because
want to
Harry's
know.
a font of all knowledge.
Harry can private message me later. I don't want to think about when that was.
Sepia
Sepia. Yes,
tone.
that's about right. I think Valerie Singleton had only just left.
Oh.
Yeah. It was probably the same year that we last won Wimbledon before Andy Murray. It was that long ago. Anyway, moving swiftly on. So this, do you want to tell about this song?
Yeah, because we're sticking with our
Yeah.
constant theme. So this is one of our songs. We did actually do this way back in the early days of Songs and Stories, but it fit the theme so well. We thought you guys wouldn't mind if we did it again today. So this is off our Tips in a Jar EP, and it's called Hold My Hand, and it's about our children and about being a constant in their lives for them. Doesn't matter what happens or what stupid mistakes they make, we're always going to be there for them. That's kind of the general message of the song, really, isn't it?
And part of it is it doesn't matter how old they get either, they're still going to be knocking on the door occasionally.
Yeah, and we're still going to embarrass them.
Yes.
So,
So this is Hold My Hand.
When I look in your eyes, I see the woman you'll become. My sweet little girl who's so quirky, full of love. I wanna keep you in my arms forever. Stop the hands of time. No matter when you need me, I'll be holding your hand.
On the day you were born, I was a father without a plan. But I watched you grow up from a boy to a working man. And though I couldn't be there every minute, you were always in my mind. No matter how many miles between us, I'm holding your hand. Hold my hand and I'll guide you. When you're lost, I'll find you. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. If the tide takes you under, days of rain or thunder, just can't figure where you belong. Hold my hand, together we are strong. Hold my hand, it's where you belong. There's a stain on the wall where you drew a big pink heart. A hole in the fence where you crept out after dark. A million timeless memories, Technicolor and black and white. No matter where you are right now, we're holding hands tonight. Hold my hand and I'll guide you. When you're lost, I'll find you. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. If the tide takes you under, days of rain or thunder, just can't figure where you belong. Hold my hand, together we are strong. Hold my hand, it's where you belong. Hold my hand, together we are strong. Hold my hand, it's where you
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love that one.
I'm not sure the kids do, but it's like, oh, I don't know.
They'll appreciate it one day. I'm sure they will.
It was so. Thank you very much for a lovely to everybody. It's the only song we've recorded so far to feature a cello.
This is true.
Yeah.
Is it?
Which we recorded in this very room, actually.
We did. We squeezed her in.
Yeah. A lovely, lovely lady by the name of Helen Summers, who's the most absolutely amazing cellist.
And very unassuming.
Very unassuming. And a good friend of ours called Graham Brown, who is an absolute master at string arrangement. What?
Harry.
My Colfer's version. Oh, I don't want to read that. I'm not reading that out.
Barnacle Bill. Oh,
Barnacle Bill. Dear, oh dear. Thank you for that very valuable information, Harry. Oh, and look, Danny's put it up. 1979. Dear, oh dear, oh dear.
We'll know to go down memory lane, won't we, next week?
Trumpton next week.
Trumpton and Chigley. Yeah. Magic Roundabout was my favourite anyway. I don't know why. But... Anyway, we should bring someone sensible into the mix.
Yes,
someone who definitely won't remember that. So we'd like to welcome our very special guest, Richelle Sellick.
Hello. All right, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm absolutely 100% convinced she wouldn't. No.
I feel we might be old enough to be her parents. This is not good.
Let's not go down that road. No.
No, everyone's the same age here.
So, for those of people that do not know the wonderful Richelle Sellick, apart from the absolutely stunning vocal performance in our intro, by the way,
He's kept that secret. You
Was
did.
not expecting that, I must admit.
so apart from the stunning vocals, what do you, for those who don't know what you do, because I appreciate you're sort of a little bit in the public eye, but mostly, I guess, backroom, what is it you do?
Yeah, so I am an artist manager. So I founded Scarlet River Management about a year and a half ago now, which sounds crazy. But yeah, and I just kind of, like you say, work behind the scenes with the artists on things like release strategy, social media, booking gigs, all of the fun stuff that the artist doesn't want to do, basically. Let's be honest.
Do you know, that was going to be my next question, you know, of when you start speaking to an artist, you know, there are those ourselves and Sarah, I guess, and a few others, you know, just basically try and take it on all, which is much easier, I guess, if there's two of you.
Yeah, we can split it between us.
Yeah. So what do you find that artists need the most help with? What's the one thing they come to you and think, oh, just cannot figure out how to do this?
I think it's actually really different for every artist, which is quite surprising, but half the fun of it, I suppose, because some of you might know I work with Charlotte Young, for example, and she absolutely hates social media. She just doesn't understand it. She feels like a grandma of the thing. Like if she didn't have to do it, she wouldn't. So for her, that is what she struggles with the most. So that's something that I get involved with quite a lot, even if it's just giving her like a little bit of a push to, you know, oh, why don't you post this, or why don't you post that, for example. And then other artists will come to me with a very defined vision of where they want to be, and a good career goal, and they'll be like, you know, they're very motivated and they know exactly where they want to be, but they don't know how to get there. And I think that's something that I can have a partial input towards. You know, I think it's one of those things where I've always found that working with artists that are already motivated to want to succeed is the best outcome, and it's the best relationship that you can have, because you can help artists that already know where they want to go, and you just kind of give them a helping hand. You are the second person or the third person in the case of a duo, rather than the person that takes over, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That
So more of a
sounds
kind of a, sorry, go ahead, Sarah.
It sounds like a really good kind of strategy to have, because I've always hated that thing of people say they've got a manager, but they tell them everything they've got to do. They sort of boss them and tell them they can't do this, they can't do that, and that's been always a fear for me, for getting somebody on board is for having that kind of, you lose control of what's, you know, of your career. So that's
and it's definitely something that I wouldn't do as a manager, or wouldn't. And I don't think well, I mean, like you say, you all have different experiences with people like managers and PR representatives and things, but I just don't think that it works as well if you do anything like that, because as you say, you know, the artist is the one that's in the public eye. The artist is the one that has to progress and do these things publicly. So, you know, somebody like me coming in and telling you what to do, you're not going to enjoy it. So you're probably not going to do it to the best of your ability anyway. So it's a waste of time then for artist and manager, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think, when this is again showing my age again, but sorry about that. When back in the day, when I was first playing in pub bands and stuff, back in the, you know, long time ago, there was this vision for every rock and roll musician, you know, that one day on a pub gig on a Friday night, some kind of Arthur Daly character was going to walk in the back with a big sheepskin coat and a cigar and go, "Oh, you all right, boys? I'll have you on Top of the Pops next week." You know, that kind of thing. And obviously there was that kind of very binary, you're either signed or you're not signed, and that's how you kind of defined success. But you know, the waters are a lot muddier now, aren't they? What does success look like or path to success look like in your experience?
I think for me, success has always been defined by where the artist wants to get to and whether I can help them to achieve that. And because every single artist will have a different definition of success, like you say, some artists don't do it without a manager, and they feel that that works best for them. Some people like to have a bit of everything, a bit of an artist manager, a booking agent, that sort of thing, and that works best for them. And I think that's a good conversation to always have with an artist, is to find out what their expectations are and what they define as a good outcome, especially when you do the PR side of things. So with the release strategy, which is something I set up during lockdown because I had more time and wanted to help more artists, is that you speak to them about, where do you want to get to? Because for some people it's streaming and reaching as many people as possible and getting those numbers up. For some people it is charting on, say, for the UK country iTunes chart. For some people it's just having their music heard. For some people it is the touring aspect. They want to tour every country possible and they don't mind about the other things. So I think it's really important to always know where the artist expects to be and help them to achieve that, rather than, I don't think there's like a one size fits all formula. It's what does the artist want to achieve and how can I help them achieve that.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what you've just talked about there sings so true of our experiences through playing music for, obviously for a long time, and particularly now I think that the streaming revenue model is well, I was about to say non-existent, which is pretty close to the truth, I think. But obviously selling records, it was a fairly decent way to get an income, in yonder year, times gone by. But of course, that's not really there now. So where do you see, if an artist's goal was to say, okay, I want to be, I'm currently doing every open mic I can find, I'm 19, 20 years of age and working at Tesco's to just pay the bills, but I'd like to do music for a bills. What was your advice to those guys who, in terms of how that might be achieved realistically?
Number one is never be afraid to jump in the deep end. I think sometimes people will not do something because they're a little bit scared of the outcome, because it's jumping into treacherous water being an artist, for sure. Like you say, it's uncertainty in a lot of things. When you have a full-time job and you know that every single month you're going to get a certain income and you get a certain paycheck and everything's okay, and so all your bills are paid, and you can go and do anything on the weekend because you only work 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, sometimes there's a lot of security in that. So I totally get why people would be scared, but I think you don't have to do it really quickly. And if it was somebody that was quite young, like you say, 19, 20, already has a job and wants to do music, I think the best place to start is to write, is to find, write some songs that you want to share with the world first and foremost. What do you want to share with the world? Because I think artists have a really powerful voice, and they always write songs, especially in the country music industry. You write songs that you believe in and you find are real and true from your experiences most of the time. So find something that you want to share with the world, and then find somewhere that you can record those songs. And some people are very blessed that they know how to do it themselves and can do it at home. I have no idea how to do that, but some people can do that, and that works. And obviously that's a potentially a cheaper option, or get into a studio. And if you do have a job that pays relatively okay and is stable, then hopefully I would encourage them to save some of that money to do that. And then try and push into those corners and those avenues. I think we're quite lucky with the country music industry because it's still developing and growing. It's quite a nice place to be in terms of as a new artist to come in, because we're quite family orientated in a way sometimes. So, if you were a new artist coming in, it wouldn't be very difficult to find artists such as yourselves and others who would be willing to listen and support. And I think that would be maybe one potential route in.
That's so true, isn't it? It's obviously we've played music in all sorts of genres and all sorts of scenes and things like that over the years, and this is, I think, the first one I've ever been involved in where immediately other artists will jump in and go, "Hey, love that," or really like what you've done there. Can we do a stream together? Can we do this or that? That kind of thing.
Especially in the last year over lockdown, it's just the community just feels like it's really tight and everyone's supportive. There's no bad feeling. Everyone's just really supportive everywhere.
Yeah.
It never feels like a competition.
No,
it
not at all.
feels like a community all trying to do. And I think particularly as you've said, that moment we kind of feel the country music. You can feel it growing, the UK country scene, and that somebody somewhere is going to be the one that trips it over into something seriously big. When it gets global recognition or even proper national daytime recognition, and we all kind of want it to be one of us.
Yeah.
Someone we know.
We don't care almost who it
It's
is,
just,
you
just
know.
one of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of going for the team. It's kind of it feels like
Yeah.
a team effort.
We feel that a little bit with
Yeah.
Kes, don't we? Really watching her success,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like because she's our friend, and we've all worked with her, and it's like you suddenly can see her just starting to make it, and we're all really excited and just waiting for the rest of the world to catch up.
Yeah, and there's a few people in the scene where you're looking at it and thinking,
Yeah.
you know, that's
You're going to be one of them.
yeah, it might be their songs, it might be them, it might be their talent as a performer, it could be all sorts of things, but there's something just there. And you know, I think one of the you know, I think there's a whole generation of people have been led to believe that you know, basically the route to fame and success is, you know, queue up outside the Excel Centre and you know, go for the X Factor audition. And, you know, 12 weeks on the telly and that's it, you're set, you know. And the truth is, you know, you'll probably make less money than you would at Tesco's, and, you know, you'll be
We'll move on to somebody else by that
buttons
point.
for the rest of
Yeah.
your life, you know, that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
so I'm going to read out, I haven't read this. Chris, the lovely Chris Logan from The Rising has just put a
Chris.
question in. So I'm going to read this out. I'm guessing you can see it too,
Yeah.
Rachel. So contentious question. How important do you feel the iTunes chart is these days when the bulk of composition has consumption, sorry.
You've got your glasses on.
I haven't, no. Has shifted away from iTunes towards streaming. It's purely just for press release blurb, or do you feel it's any relevance? Always wondered.
It is a contentious question, and everyone will have a different opinion. So I guess I can give you mine, but don't take it as set in stone. For me, I don't think they're wholeheartedly important. I think it's one of those things where when you're starting out as an artist and nobody really knows who you are, or you're quite new in the industry, charting can be something that propels you forward so that people maybe pay attention. And I think that's what you're saying when you said it purely just for a press release kind of blurb, Chris. It is in a sense, to a degree, yeah, that's really helpful because you can write that. And when other people maybe across the globe read your bio, then that sounds really impressive. So that's kind of a good, it's almost, yeah, something that will perk up the ears. It's one of those buzzwords where people will go, oh yeah, that sounds really interesting, I'll keep reading, or I'll go and check them out. In terms of a long-term game plan or a long-term plan for an artist and in their, you know, bigger successes, I'm not sure it's hugely important, because the problem, unless your song is on iTunes and say goes in the top 10, amazing, but it stays there for a relatively long period of time, then actually sometimes you can get so caught up in it went to number one, but then you don't hear from that artist for another few months, and then they release another song and they've got a good, you know, they've got loads of family and friends who will pre-order, and that's fantastic. And then it goes to number 1, 2, whatever, and that's great, and then you don't hear from them again. You have to ask yourself whether that's how you would like to move forward as an artist, because actually you might not necessarily see any progression there. Whereas if you can build on it, then I do think it's important, because I think if you can get into the top 5 and then off the back of that, you keep pushing and you're, you know, like the social media things like that, and you get on podcasts and you do live streams and you connect with people through that initial success, and that might lead to an award nomination or something like that, then that small little charting position was important for your journey. So I think it's really it's a very fine balance, and I you know, I get that it's a difficult one, but that would probably be my outlook on it. It's a small thing but part of a bigger picture.
Yeah, I think we found that, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
Our first EP went to number 1, and I think without, obviously it boosted our confidence because it was the first EP we'd released together. But just, yeah, that then made people take notice of us, which then got us lots of radio interviews, and then we got award nominations, and then we got booked over in Nashville, and it escalated from there. So that one thing, although it doesn't really mean anything. I mean, I'm old, so I look at charts and go, oh, she did the charts. But so, from a personal point of view, that was nice. But yeah, but in terms of getting us recognised and being a stepping stone to everything else, that did the trick for us. Yeah,
I think that we've had, our last 3 releases, we've had 3 very different results, actually. The EP went to number 1, and it stayed number 1 that day, and then very quickly disappeared, which is, you know, not unsurprising for an EP, because people tend to buy, you know, and a download, they buy singles anyway. But the next one charted fairly well. I forget where it went. It was top 10, but I don't know. It didn't get to number 1, but it stayed for a couple of days and then disappeared. And then the last one did the same, but actually stayed there a week. And we kind of, a
Yeah.
bit like you've just hinted, it was like, this feels much better.
Yeah, it's been a gradual progression.
Yeah.
It just takes time, doesn't
It is. And it's funny because one of the, the truth is when we were kind of growing up, a number one meant selling millions of records in Woolworths on a Saturday. That's what happened. And then it was kind of hundreds of thousands CDs in Tesco's for a few years. And then it was, maybe 10,000 downloads. And now it's a lot less of actual downloads because people don't care, downloads. Apple particularly made it very difficult to download tunes, actually. Pre-order.
Yeah, they do. You can't find it anywhere, can you? You're clicking on trying to go to the store, and it just won't go to the store, will it? It just wants to take you to the Apple Music.
Yeah,
So
I think.
Sorry, go ahead, Rachel.
Yeah, I was just going to say that another thing to consider, and you kind of touched on it then, not specifically, but it's also like you say about the numbers as well from behind the scenes. When you guys look at your iTunes for Apple for Artists or Spotify for Artists, for example, it's like you say, you might have got to number one, but was it the same number of downloads as the previous time you released? And was it just because there wasn't as much competition that day? Or have you actually excelled in that as well? So that's another little thing that some artists like to use as a little bit of a kind of, an idea as to whether that's been progressing or not. Whereas, so I think there's a couple of things definitely. You were going to refer to Michael's comment where you we're often told that pre-orders are important for playlists. And to be honest, to a degree, that is true. When people also ask you to pre-save on Spotify, it is because of algorithmic problems and things like that. They say that, if you pre-save, then more people are likely to hear your song on the first day of release. And then that's really good for maximizing your numbers, maximizing your reach, getting people to add your song to their personal playlists, which can help for Spotify algorithms and things like that. So I think that's one thing when independent artists specifically, it's more important for independent artists, isn't it, than record label artists. Or and I don't know if you guys as artists agree, but I think that's my take on it so far.
I think it's playlists sorry, go ahead, Sarah.
No, I was just going to say that it's easy to get really caught up in the numbers and always checking the Spotify playlist numbers and things like that. But I sometimes wonder, is this worth my energy? Should I be putting it into other things, rather than worrying about, have I got, this amount of streams? Because in reality, it doesn't really do anything. Getting people on, when we get back to live shows, I think getting bums on seats is probably the main thing for me anyway. I think it would be the main route to kind of better success.
I think you've, sorry to interrupt, Sarah, but you've just hit the nail squarely on the head. I think, in terms, not just in terms of getting your music out there, but actually in terms of what's a success. We know, financially, every record, regardless of whether it's your full-time career or not, costs money and time and effort and heartache to actually get to the point where you're holding either a file or a CD or whatever it is. It takes money, and you've either got to, as you hinted, Rachel, save it up yourself and do it and take a risk, invest in it and see what happens, or someone will loan it to you or get the gear and do it yourself. Either way, it's going to take money, and streaming won't pay for that. Downloads definitely won't pay for that. CDs people do buy, we found, and that's really quite reassuring. And a lot of people have been honest and say, I don't play them. I keep them as really nice mementos for a $5 or whatever it is.
Lovely.
And that's lovely. And we kind of we come from a generation, I guess, where it's nice to have things on the shelf from people that we support. And I think it was Chris raised a question on Facebook the other day about, do people still buy CDs and for me, buying a download is probably not because I'm going to listen to it, but I've heard it on a stream and I want to support the artist to say, well done, that's great. And that's kind of the only way you can do it for a single. But just on Sarah's point, if you have a room full of people turn up to your gig and they've all paid a $5 or a $10 or whatever it is and gone effort to go to a gig, that is a win.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's such a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I was at a conference last week, well, like a virtual one. I wasn't actually there. But it was the Selector Pro conference, which is run by the AIM. And they had a panel that were talking kind of about this sort of thing. And they were saying, obviously, that numbers are a great stepping stone, but it's that engagement that's important, isn't it? It's the engagement, not just on social media, but like you say, it's those fans then that will convert their following on social media to going to a show, to buying your merchandise, and to actually fully supporting your journey.
Yeah, I think they want to feel part of what you're doing, and I think that's
They are part of what you're doing, because
Yeah.
you can't do it without them. It's a team
No.
effort, isn't it? You've got to have the artists and the supporters together.
Well, as an old bandmaster told me years and years ago, a concert without an audience is a rehearsal. And that always kind of sticks, in me, unless people actually turn up and, even if they're just walking. We played a couple of gigs in kind of little craft fair type things on a Saturday afternoon, and the number of top people who will just walk past and sort of tilt of the head and listen for a bit, and then the next thing you know, they've got a coffee in their hand and they've got the next seat and they're sitting down listening to you and come and talk to you
and then
afterwards.
they come and buy a CD.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
enjoyed that. I'll take something home with me.
that kind of, I didn't know that you existed, to I'm going to give you money. It's
Yeah.
so rewarding, not just for the finances, but it just that you might have actually meant something for their day.
Definitely.
So what's next for you, Rachel? What's what current sort of projects do you have going? What were you next excited to do?
Gosh, there's a few things, which is cool. I'm working with Emma Moore, and she's got a new single coming out on Friday called Husbands or Kids. And I'm also going to start working with Kieran Lancini. I helped him with his last release, and he's an Australian artist, but he lives in London now. And he's great. I really love his stuff, so that's really cool. And I guess thinking about gigs and bookings, but I'm kind of holding fire because I don't want to run into the wind and then something happen. So I'm just kind of waiting and holding fire on that. But we've got some good relationships with, I've come on board with Live in the Living Room, James Vince, and we've got a good partnership with Dark Deck Agency, who are from Scandinavia, and they're going to do some bookings for UK artists as well. So those are kind of in place, ready, fingers crossed. But I'm kind of enjoying the PR thing. I've got to be honest, because it means that I can work with new artists every couple of months. It's not just, I love Kyle and Charlotte, wouldn't change them for the world. I absolutely love their music and I love working with them. But it also means that I can work with other artists too. And it's not just, I'm not just confined to, to a few. And I really, really enjoy that. It means I get to experience more of the UK scene too, and further afield. So that's really nice.
Well, certainly from my point of view, can't wait for those gigs, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I've got to read out a question. I was time is marching on, but this was such a good, I just spotted Nathan's question in the comments, and I kind of got to read this one out. As a reviewer, this may be a silly question, but how important is the reviewer's work, and does the review actually help with artist confidence?
Oh, yeah, I'd say it's really important.
Massive, isn't it?
It makes a big difference, because you're never sure when you put a single out. You kind of think, I think it's okay. But, and then when you hit a reviewer that you know and respect reviews it and gives you a good review, it changes everything.
Yeah.
I think from, there will always be people who come up and at a pub or whatever, if you're sitting and playing, and go, yeah, great gig, really enjoyed it. And that's lovely, always lovely to hear. But that's, a part of that is just good manners, but to actually have someone who sits down constantly listening to comparing music to say, yeah, I really like what you've done here with this and this, and take it to pieces, massively important.
Yeah,
Sarah,
definitely.
how do you feel?
No, yeah, I mean, definitely it can really lift your spirits, even if it's just that. I mean, that can just boost you on to do the next step that you've been meaning to do, just think, perhaps it is working then, and you kind of think, oh, I will do that today, what I was supposed to be doing. And it just kind of spurs you on a little bit. But I also think, I buy Maverick magazine all the time, and I do pay to get a review, which probably, you send your CDs in, and it costs quite a lot of money to kind of get in there. But and I also think the bad reviews, because I've read such a lot of bad reviews in there, and what it must do to them. And I think it's awful, and you read them and you think that's really going to hit that person so hard, that bad review. And sometimes I think the reviewer just wants to be bad for no reason. They just kind of they feel like, oh, this band is big, they deserve to be taken down a peg or two or something. I don't know, but a bad review just must be it must take you down so low, because I know one bad comment out of 100, and that's the one
you remember.
Yeah, it's a really difficult line, because I think what Chris was saying is a very valid point, that it's very good for press and promotion, because if an artist can promote their new single coming out, but then if somebody who's not related to the project shares it, then that perks up the ears of other fans and people who maybe haven't heard of your music before, because they'll be like, oh well, a reviewer's written about it and what they've written is really cool, so maybe I should go and check it out.
Yeah.
But on the topic of bad reviews, and I hate reading bad reviews, like you say, it doesn't make you feel good, but at the same time, you've got to, as a reviewer, you need to make sure that you are being honest. And if you're honest, then you get more credibility from a fan. And I think that's what grows your company in terms of reviews and blogs and things like that. But like you say, there's no need to be intentionally harsh, for sure. But I always like to hear about, what they think of the songwriting, what they think of the production, as well as, as the song as a whole. Which is really, really great. And yeah, it's really nice to hear someone's like full opinion, because it gives you something to use, obviously, like you say, with promotion and things like that, but it also it means that person's taken the time to invest, like you were saying, guys, before, to invest in what you're working towards and what you put so much effort into producing as well, because it takes you guys a long time, from the idea of a song to actually putting the song together so that it's record ready.
Well, I've got to leave you with a little story. I used to with the press quite a lot in the audio business, and it had my good reviews for the stuff I put forward and bad reviews, just like everybody, and it can go either way. But my boss at the time got rather upset at one review, which was completely unjust and very bad, and he happened to stop this particular review at a bar at an expo and just started talking to him about it, and he's just said, "Just so you know, criticism doesn't make your willy bigger."
Victoria.
And I just thought that I just had to tell that story, because that's it basically that sums it up, doesn't it? And on that bombshell.
And on that note. Oh dear.
Oh dear. Anyway, I don't know if DC's laughing at me or something else, but anyway.
Definitely you.
Yeah.
Well, I've got to say, I mean, time has marched on. I could literally carry on this all afternoon.
Yeah, I know. I just like the chatting, to be honest.
Rachel, thanks ever so much, and brilliant news about Live in the Living Room. We've been big supporters and contributors to that and James's work. So to hear that you were coming on board was a massive big smile moment. Yes, that was really, really good news. And thank you for joining us and putting up with my daft questions.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, thank you.
Pleasure's all ours. Thank you so much. And go and check out Rachel and her artist too, please, if you haven't already done so. And I'm sure many people in the stream have, but yeah. Right. Okay. Time for a couple of closing songs, I think.
I think so. Should we just get on with it, because it's like 5-2, 3-2. Well, who's going first?
You go first, Sarah, since you've been going first today.
Okie dokie. This is a new one, actually. One of my newest. And it was written actually for a film, but it won't ever be used in the film. But it's a film, one of my favourites that I've always loved, and being it's the constant theme still. It's been a trio of films that I've loved throughout my life, and it's not really got songs in it. So this is my idea of a song that would be in that film if it could be. I'm not going to tell you the film. But just on a feeling. Oh dear.
Can you trust a heartbeat? How it feels and sounds? Can you trust when eyes meet and make a silent vow? Can you trust the bright lights that filter out the crowd? Can you trust the footsteps that walk up in the clouds? Ooh. Ooh. Can you sweep away all the fairy tales you write? Can you trust the longing that's burning you inside? Can you take a leap of faith just on a feeling? Can you take a leap of faith just on a feeling? Just on a feeling. Ooh. Can you trust the sparks that out of nowhere start to fly? The promise of a deep belonging that takes you high. Can you take a leap of faith just on a feeling? Can you take just on a feeling, just on a feeling. Ooh. Just on a feeling. On a feeling,
Oh wow! I feel like I need to know what film that was from.
The lyrics thinking, can I figure out what it is? But I couldn't.
Well, it wasn't from Back to the Future.
No, it's far more tamer than that. It's I'm not going to say now, but
Okay.
yeah, there's 3
You'll have to tell
films
us offline.
in the series, and
That's our clue. 3
it's more of a rom-com. Victoria, you might like it. Yeah, it's kind of.
You definitely like it.
I'm going to go away and think about that.
See, the three film trilogy was where I went to Back to the Future. You see.
Yeah, that's definitely not.
No, and it's not Beverly Hills Cop either.
No,
I think there's only
stop
2 of those.
talking.
Anyway, there's my film knowledge exhausted.
Well, we're going to cheat for our last song. We're going to do another cover just because we thought we'd do something livelier. And then I heard this yesterday when I was driving along and thought, actually, I haven't sung that for a while.
We played this on our sofa sessions a few weeks back, didn't we? We thought it was
it's a
song.
Cam song. I love Cam songs because she
Oh,
sings
yeah.
right in my register. So
Diane,
thank you, Cam.
Diane.
We're not going to do
Diane.
No.
Sorry, we thought everyone's probably sick of us doing Diane. So no, we're going to do Half Broke Heart.
Oh, brilliant.
No need to give a bunch of lame half-assed excuses why this ain't love. I'm blunt, but I ain't stupid. I wasn't looking for a ring. It doesn't mean it doesn't sting when you gotta run so soon. Good luck, so long. I guess I better get to leaving too. A half-truth, still a lie. I need my space, it's still goodbye. A wrong side, she could look good on you, but you'll be cussing your feet at midnight. A half-cold beer ain't cold. I'll be back soon, it's still gone. A half-smoked cigarette still smoked, and a half-broke heart still broke. A half-broke heart still broke. Up front, no strings, showing fun till it unravels. Won't see me cry, but I might kinda wanna call you tonight. Pour me a drink, but don't make it too strong, 'cause I need a little kicker to help me move on. Could say I don't care, but just okay ain't all the way there. A half-truth, still a lie. I need my space, it's still goodbye. A wrong side, sugar look good on you. I'll be back soon, it's still gone. A half-smoked cigarette still smoked, and a half-broke heart still broke. No, a half-broke heart still broke. Just because you don't call it love don't mean a thing. I saw it coming and no hard feelings, but it's hard feeling this way. After you're still alive, I need my space, it's still goodbye. Wrong side sugar look good on you, but you'll be cussing your feet at midnight. A half cold beer ain't cold, I'll be back soon, it's still gone. A half smoked cigarette still smoked, and a half broke heart still broke. A half smoked cigarette still smoked, and a half broke heart still broke. No, a half broke heart still broke. No, a half broke heart still broke. Thank you.
Fantastic.
That's a
The
fun
lyrics to
version.
that song is great.
It is such a thank you, Michael, and thank you everybody. Thank you, Harry. Thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks from Chris from The Rising, from Nathan. A special big massive super duper thank you for Rachel for joining us. That was absolutely fascinating.
It
was.
Yeah, the time just went.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those you think, what am I going to ask for that long? And then all of a sudden it's like twice as long as you intended. And
I had loads more questions in my head as well. I was thinking, when can I get some? But then you realise the time and you can't get them in. But
Anyway,
anyway,
get it back, won't we?
yeah, we will. Absolutely. We have another special guest, industry-related guest next time.
We do.
We're not saying who yet.
No, but we're going to do another Songs and Stories exactly a month from today on the
Yep.
28th of March. And yes, we've got our special guest lined up, but it's another interviewee
Yes,
rather than a
indeed.
performer. So,
Absolutely. And also someone like me who can talk.
yes, we'll just leave you and the person to it.
No.
so you might have to delay your evening meals a little bit. Could be some time.
Oh dear. Anyway, for now, massive thank you to the award-winning Danny DC Brown for all the tech in the background. Thank you, Danny, and we will see you all again around about this time next month. Bye for now.
See you then. Bye.
Give me wings to make me fly, make me bold enough to try. In this crowded room, make it just me and you. One step closer to embracing the better days ahead. My way to the stars. Am I a fool if I try, or a fool if I don't? But I won't know.
Love of my life, you've hurt me, you've broken my heart, and now you leave me. Love of my life.